Hello folks, I hope you're having a great day today. Hey, today I want to take a look at Lawrence Watt Evans's A Flying Saucer with Minnesota Plates. It's kind of a sequel to his Hugo Award-winning short story that's a sort of an alternate universe one that's called Why I Left Harry's All Night Hamburgers. If you'll recall, we've already reviewed that for you, so I want to take a look at kind of the sequel, which is also a short story. The first short story is set, he wrote it in the 80s. He was inspired at this diner out in Sutton, which is kind of the geometrical sort of center of West Virginia, out in the middle of this smaller little city. And he really enjoyed the diner. He's kind of inspired to write a short story. And in the short story, you're introduced to the character of Harry and this who owns this all-night hamburger stand, and then our main character. And our main character lives in the local area in Gassaway. And he is a worker. He's a teenager, and he starts working for Harry's. Harry's isn't sure if he should be bringing him in or not, but ultimately decides to do so. And when this guy starts working for Harry's all-night hamburger stand, he realizes that the folks that are coming in aren't exactly, normal. They aren't exactly, coming from the right place. They have some weird monies. Weird things are happening. Pretty soon he finds out that there is these alternate worlds, and there's an infinite number of worlds. And upon many of these worlds, people are going from place to place to place. And on every single alternate Earth, there is a, and it may not be called Harry's, but there is a unique diner that is in the same place in West Virginia. And there are a few reasons for it. First of all, lots of people go to West Virginia to move from one universe to another. It's away from a lot of things. It's a good place to do some sort of the experiments. Probably the reason why the Green Bank National Observatory, for example, is in West Virginia, because it's away from things. You can have, a giant dead zone for electronics, Wi-Fi, that sort of thing, because you are able to get away from a lot of the nearby places, but it's still near enough. The modern places, DC, the metros of New York City. So you're still Pittsburgh. You're still near enough to all these big cities and metropolises that you can get there relatively quickly, but it's still far enough away that you're able to kind of not worry about hurting other folks. And so a lot of people will go to West Virginia, and then they will go to other nearby places as part of their exploration, and go from one world to another and ultimately they're trying to find their way home. For a lot of these folks. Anyway, our main character, by the time the first short story is finished, has decided that he wants to leave. But this person talks him into exploring his own world first before he heads out, because once he makes the decision to head out on another world, he can never come back to his own. Right? The chance of him, coming away. So this stranger suggests to him that instead he explores his own world first, and says, "There's all these great things in your own world. Explore them first." And so he does so. And so you'll meet him after he has left Harry's, and he is now exploring in all these different fun places around, the world. That's kind of the end of that story. So now what we're doing now with this short story is we're moving about a year ahead of so in the general plot line of when he left Harry's. And the guy Harry's is becoming more and more ragged. It's hard for him to hire people that he trusts because of the unusual clientele that he has, particularly at night, who will come overnight and they'll get themselves a meal. So what you're going to get in this short story as the follow-up is basically you're going to see it from Harry's point of view, whereas the first short story was from the other one. And you're going to kind of see Harry's establishment as himself getting run more and more ragged. The main feature here, though, is that there is a flying saucer that has appeared that has Minnesota plates. And some other weird things and some quirky things that are happening. And unfortunately, it seems like the flying saucer may be there for a while. So he has trying to figure out ways that he can keep these without it seeming like an issue. He actually turns it into sort of, he makes it seem like it's part of the advertising and a marketing campaign. Hey, we got a flying saucer in, hey, great, rather than it seeming like it's an issue. And for a while it seems to be accepted, but you're going to obviously have some issues with that. Is that going to be something that's going to continue to be accepted? So anyway, I'll actually leave you to it. It's a fairly short story. In my collection, it's 5 pages long. It's not going to keep you up It took me 15 minutes to read it the first time. I've read it 3 times. I read it again for this one for you. So again, I linked you to the same collection before for Lawrence Watt Evans. He is somebody who I have a soft spot for because I really enjoy his fantasy works. And then again, he had this Hugo Winning short story, Why I Left Harry's All Night Hamburgers, which I could not recommend for you more. And this is the sequel to that. The Minnesota with a flying saucer with Minnesota plates. So there you are. I'll link you to it. Let me know if you've read it. I'm happy to talk with you about it more. If there's anything you want to engage with it, let me know what you thought about my comments below. I think it's a fun, breezy, interesting, and very funny at times story with some interesting kinds of things that happens. By now, Lawrence Watt Evans has figured out how to write a short story, because that's not a skill I think is innate to a writer. I think writers sometimes who are used to reading novels and writing novels don't always have the skill to do a short story very easily, but he does so. And I think that's a good thing. But anyway, there you are. And if you like this video and this review, hey, please feel encouraged to hit that subscribe button. We're going to be having so many more reviews of these classic science fiction, fantasy, and horror stories for you that I try to unpack for you. In some cases, they're by big-name writers that you may have heard about or won awards that you've heard about, but you've never heard of the writer or the story. So feel free to hit this subscribe button. You're going to get a lot more of these videos to follow. And hey, if you watch this video all the way to the end, I just want to thank you for taking some time out of your day. We all have busy days, busy lives, and so many things happening. So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's very humbling, and I appreciate it. Thanks again. Have a good one.